So what we learned from the kampung that he lived, the kampung was, the mother has actually, this particular house in the kampung, the plantation, was just used by the brother. It was locked most of the time. The mother does not live there. She lives separately. The mother lives alone. She suffers from mental depression, Yong's mother. She keeps the house very clean, but until today she does not know, and we do not know really whether she actually knows the son, whether the son is going to be executed. But from what little we know, and she suffers from severe mental depression, she just says yes, no, that was her expression. But of course, I try to sing some Chinese songs and try to entertain her, and we understand that because she likes to wear nice clothes and go out, so there's this energy to live. So, of course, she was quite amused when I was singing the Chinese song and started laughing. So we took the opportunity to even get closer to her in terms of her emotions. And we could see that she has the zest to live. So basically, she does not know still that Yong is going to be executed. When we obtained the stay of execution in Singapore last year, when she was about to, in fact, Yong was supposed to be hanged on December 4th last year. And on 2nd December 2009, the mother came to visit because the family had already received a letter for funeral, and that basically they're supposed to prepare funeral services on Friday, and what we call the blood letter from the state. So the mother came, and the mother didn't know about the fact that he is in prison, let alone the fact that he is going to be hanged. So she came to Singapore to visit him, for Yong to say goodbye to her. And just in the afternoon before he met her, I managed to get a stay of execution because I got involved in the case last minute, after his court of appeal was over, after the president has turned down the clemency, after the family had already received a letter for the execution date. So that was when, after the president rejected the clemency, when I got involved in this matter. So I was not at all involved from the beginning, even right till the end of the court of appeal hearing. As you know that, so the mother came there, and so thank God at least we had got a stay to basically argue his appeal proper. What has happened is that Yong Vui Kong has already withdrew his appeal to the court of appeal. It was one of the rare instances, in fact it's the only case which we know that at least officially that's on law reports, that someone has actually withdrawn his appeal to the court of appeal. So although he had legal representation from the state, Yong Vui Kong had withdrawn the appeal. To him, appealing means is because he turned as almost like a Buddhist monk. He's into very austere religious practices. He chants mantras. He's into total meditation, and to him, appealing means it's like saying a lie. That's how he feels. He complicated he confused with his religious beliefs with the appeal process. So that was when I entered the fray and got the stay of execution, and thank God the mother was saved from the horror of facing the son and being informed of the son's impending execution on Friday. So Yong saw her and he kneeled down to her 3 times, asking her for forgiveness and everything. And it was a very, very emotional moment for Yong, because when I met him in the same afternoon after the mother's, in fact before the mother saw him, in fact I met him to tell her, in telling him, please don't tell her that you're going to be hanged in any event later. And of course I left it his choice. So from the updates I got from him and his brother, Yong kneeled down 3 times, and he was also chanting Buddhist sutras in Mandarin to her, and he was even writing in Mandarin all the basic precepts of life and philosophy that he has learned from this Buddhist text. The mother was so impressed, although she was depressed, and in her own ways she was like impressed with the son being able to communicate at this level of understanding towards life, and she was very impressed with him, given the fact that this boy that he knew couldn't even write English, a basic Mandarin. Yes. And in fact, when I was in Sandakan, as I was saying, we went there to see, I went to his cupboard. the mother kept all the books from primary school, his school uniform, his school shorts and everything else was there. It's so strange. I mean, how many of us actually do keep our primary school shorts, or our parents would keep? The fact that within the mother's darkest recesses of her minds, that she is, I mean, people are seeing her as depressed, but she has kept all the clothes, the books. So when I saw the books, he was quite good in his actually mathematics, and he had a zest for learning. When I saw his books up to primary 4, after that, there's no Form 4, I think you call Form 4. Primary 4. In Sabah, it's still called Primary 4, okay? So the books show that he had zest for learning. But after primary 4, when I saw the primary 5 books and all that, it was like all the homework's not done. So you could see that he was facing serious problems at home, despite the fact that he had the zest for education. Coming back to Singapore, and the mother had visited him, and then she left. And then I filed the application to the Court of Appeal to challenge the mandatory death sentence. We didn't challenge his conviction. He was trafficked for 47 grams of heroin, and he was sentenced to death in the High Court of Singapore. In fact, it's only Malaysia and Singapore in the whole of Asia have this mandatory death sentence for drugs. That is also part of my research that we found out when I was arguing the Court of Appeal. It's only Malaysia and Singapore, not China, not India, in all the places. One wonders why as well, And he's like a living monk, and he's a living monk. And he, in fact, even the officers there who have witnessed, some of them have witnessed so many executions, say that he's really special. Not that we have to say one human being is so special to another human being. Of course, we all believe in equality, but never to ignore the fact that he really has this quality in him that they themselves feel so stressed, and they themselves, some of the officers have spoken to me and said that they can't even imagine this boy being executed. The fact that they have got used to execution, and Yong Vui Kong is the 890th execution which is going to take place in Singapore. So if the officers feel really, it's a very painful moment for them as well. And Yong Vui Kong, they in fact seek some guidance from him. He in fact preaches Buddhist sutras to them. Even when I go, he gives me 10 minutes of meditation. He sits in his cell, and when I'm there, he's still meditating, and the officer will tell him, he's not coming now, wait for him for another 15 minutes. So he's in meditation, and he comes out, then he wears his jacket, and he speaks so calmly. In fact, he tells me, don't worry so much about all these things. I really feel very sad for these people, the state, that they don't have compassion, but I will have the compassion for them. He's only said that young people like him have to be executed this way. If the laws can be changed, if he can be pardoned, he would want to live and use all his language skills in all the various languages to teach others, to be an example why the young people shouldn't be turning to drugs, trafficking, and so on and so forth. That is the example, that's the best anti-drug message that Singapore can actually give him, that opportunity to live and share that perception or that perspective from Yong. Yeah, it's 2 weeks from now. He stands to be executed any time. So I will be still filing the clemency without prejudice to his rights, for a full determination by the Court of Appeal of his rights of his right to have an impartial clemency process. Even if the court were to dismiss his application for judicial review for an indefinite stay of execution, I will still be appealing to the Court of Appeal.